So just imagine that we are in the same room or in the same hall or in the same space, and then we are having a conversation. Everybody is contributing, and we are having eye contact, and we're enjoying our time. So that's basically what we want to do this evening, praying that the Lord will help us in Jesus. So our topic for today is godly company. I know that many times we feel heard of godly company, but this, if you want to take the turn and godly company, definitely godly company will be a godly company. What we just want to emphasize is that no one was built to do life on their own, right? No one was built to live life on their own. And we live in a society where it is emphasized that as a man should should live life on your own. Most times when they say being a man, what they're trying to say is that you go out like by yourself, that you should not complain about anything. You don't have to share your burdens with anyone, or you have to carry whatsoever you are carrying quietly. And you see, this has existed in our father's time. They prefer to be alone just to figure out life on their own. And you see, many of us that were passed down to us, and we just see that we try to live life on our own, no matter how we try to do it. But the sincere truth is that we must change the trend, must try to uh, use another method, that method that we know it can be very, very effective, because as men has not told us to live uh, alone. So we should stop pretending that we can stand alone, or we can live our life alone. I did want to ask a question that for us now, when they say we should be a man, what does it mean while growing up? At least have you been in a situation where maybe you needed help from other people, and or you needed to share a bonding with other people, and what they tell you is that be a man? How did you navigate it? Did you be a man? Were you a man there? Now we're able to process. So the question is that what did be a man mean to you or in your house while growing up? So someone can really respond to that. I have 18 people on the call, and I really hope and pray that you make it a conversational class. Let's speak. You speaking in mic. Oh,
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
good evening. All right.
Yes. So, on my end, I don't think in my home we said there was any time when it was said be a man or stuff, but it's something that I grew up and I heard in society. And essentially across society, it has been, being a man means, suck it up, don't appear weak, right? You need to be able to weather anything, right? So while you're a boy, you are being prepared to be able to shoulder responsibilities by the time you get older. So essentially, when you cry, then they are like, okay, are you not a boy? Why are you crying? You're not a girl, that kind of thing. So it's something that I saw growing up, not essentially in my house, right? But I saw it in society. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chidom. Thank you really for saying that. Anyone else want to add to that, please? So, in the advent of that, with someone also trying to answer, I want to ask a question. Has it really helped us as men? Just advising men to be, be yours, be a man, not shit up yourself. Has it really helped us as men?
So Chidum here again. I'll be picking up the mic. In a way, I would say it forces us to not to be too emotional about stuff. It forces us to look for answers, even when um it's difficult to find the answers. In a way, it sounds like, okay, this is fine, right? It pushes you to find answers by yourself. You don't need to wait for anyone to guide you to find the answers. So no matter what it is, no matter where the answers are, you will definitely find it. However, it has a downside, right? The downside being that if you're unable to find the answers, you start feeling less of yourself. And of
Mhm.
course, there's also the insults that people can heap on you, if you're unable to find some answers and they're like, okay, you're no longer a man and all of
Yeah.
those things can come as well. So that's where the downside is. But then of course there is an upside of the whole philosophy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephen, for doing that. So, who else wants to add to that, please?
All right. Good evening. Yeah, so I'm also with the same school of thought with the brother I just finished speaking. So yeah, it has a good side of being a man. Like if they say be a man, like you have to be responsible, you have to lead, you have to take charge of some things, and it also has its own downside where when they say be a man, you feel like you just have to shoulder everything. Even when you need to speak someone, you just feel like no, you sure just have to do it by yourself. Just make sure that things go well on your own. I had a scenario of this word when somebody told somebody be a man in my presence. It was I think 6 or so. So one of the guys staying with us at home. So he lost his mom back home, but he's staying with us. So he just busted. I was not even around. I just heard cry. He just started crying. So when he was crying, I went out. I went to meet him. I was just trying to pet him and encourage him. So when my dad came, my dad just told him that he should be a man, he should stop crying. I was like, "Ah." I could not. I just want. I could not just talk, but then I knew that you should just have allowed him to express and pour out his emotions, and so. But it's good now, though. Now our parents now just like be him, be him, be him, be him. So I just had to talk to him, just to calm him down, just encourage him, and I don't have the experience. I've not lost my mom, but then just had to like, okay, guy, just calm. And then that just it's thinking.
Someone lost his mom and they're telling him it's a day, man. That's not. Well, you see, that's how I said something that it's more like we are inherited like the script where most men have learned to deal with their emotions, like in the sense that oh, it's sort of being man without their specific. Because of that, you see, when they could properly grip, maybe the guy is okay because he told him he's being man when maybe he has not even properly grip and it affects him emotionally. How has it affected us? I say something that isolation is not neutral. The cost of doing it alone. That's why we see that in our society today, using US, for instance, as an example, because they are more data driven. Nigeria too also have the case. It's just that there are no substantial data for it, but we have 4 times of men dying of suicide, like because like what I mean compared to the women, men die by suicide at roughly 4 times the rate of women, because they as women they have a community and they can reach out to people and people are willing to help them. Fewer than 1 in 5 people reaching a major crisis, just like identifying as male, you see, when they could have maybe initially communicated things with people on time that could have solved a lot of issues. They didn't. And that escalated, and before you know it, it becomes a major crisis. And the most common answer men give to who can you call at 2 a.m. One name. Nobody. That is the question I have to ask myself recently that yes, apart from my wife, when I have an issue, if there's anything that has to do with an emergency with my family, who are the people that I can call around 2 a.m.? Who can I call around 3 a.m. and they will answer? I try to make a mental note of some people that I need to, but how I can cause didn't know that at least they should be able to help. I did this wheelchair because of the kind of relationship I have with them. So the problem is not like it's not like men feel that the you know the this is what I'm just saying that the problem underneath is not weakness, it is atomization, men living without anyone close enough to notice because men are blind to what the man is going through because they feel the man should be able to put it together and hold it together and live the life live like the way they are living life. So I want to ask you a question for men. Like, what other ways have this affected us? Uh, Apart from the suicide, from um uh the fact that things escalated because people did not communicate on time. Then another thing that I want to ask is that do you really have someone that you can call at 3 a.m. to ask you send that question? So I want us to talk. I have 23 people here. So please let's talk. That one is
Good evening, all. I wouldn't say yes and I wouldn't say no. I just pray we don't things that will go out of hand should happen to us at that particular uh, time. Yes, that is just my own prayer. At least among my friends that we stay in the same town, I can boastly say I have probably like 2 or 3 persons that I can actually
Mm,
call at that very time, and I'm very sure that they will show up for me.
mm. Thank you, thank you. Who else want to answer that? Another question I want to ask, if apart from that, father, what other effect that this isolation had on women?
Okay. For me, for the first question, I would say physically, okay, in my current location now, I don't think I have anybody I can call to it. I don't think so. But I have guys that are not staying in my look like they are in other states that I can call. I know they will come through. But in my current location, I don't pray for that kind of thing to happen to me because I really don't have anybody to call. Then concerning the isolation, I feel like another way is affect is just plainly isolation because there are some things that sometimes pass through it. I just have to talk to somebody. Call my guy. Like the last time that majorly sometimes when Arsenal lose matches, inside the UEFA Champions League, I just need to because I will just be angry and I just have to call somebody. I have to banter
Why
like
your mind?
I just want to pour my mind on the players and everything. I'll just call my guy. Then we just start talking, we just start ranting. From there we now start laughing, start gisting. So you see that I'll just calm down. I think we should not we are not supposed to even live life alone. So we're supposed to have somebody that we can talk to and like
Yeah, the example that Samuel gave is even what I'm even trying to say that it doesn't even have to be, it doesn't have to be a serious emergency. It could be you just want to say something like body in your head, and then it's easy for you to call someone and that way like that. Or let me know to me and person picks it and just say, okay, what do you want to say? Not like, oh, this person is disturbing me right at that moment. So, I think if anyone does not say anything, we can move to the next part. All I want to say is
Sorry,
that what
I want to speak on it.
all right, right, all right.
I think another thing it causes is mental stress. Sometimes this isolation of a thing, but just like what my brother just said, sometimes you just need someone to talk to. And we
Yeah.
as men, sometimes we used to have this ego, and sometimes there are so many of us that we normally have this mentality of àwọn obìnrin like we can't get good advice from them. I don't know if we get just like or let me just say based on the way they do their own reasoning. Our reasoning used to be very different from their own. If you are going towards the right direction, women sometimes them they will be taking you to another
Yeah.
direction. Them they add emotions to all their reasoning, so it makes a lot of men to find it very difficult to relate some issues to their wives. So that is why it is very good. Like me now, I really don't keep bad friends, but there used to be this that would just like to go to all this relaxation center. It's not that I'm going there to go and hide. I don't know if we get, but sometimes just eat your pepper soup, take your coke or Martina or this common ever water, and there are some people again that will still be feeling that okay, I would not really want people to see me there because what will they interpret my coming there for? For me, I don't really care. It is me that know what brought me to that place, and since I know that me ò lọ ṣe kátàkárà anywhere, so anybody that want to be thinking otherwise na him sabi. So sometimes it is very good for us to have people that we can relate whatsoever is disturbing us with, even beyond our. There are some things that you cannot even share with your wife, but there are some certain things that you can share with friends, and before you know, they can just throw up one or two this banger on you. Before you know it, my brother, you will just laugh away your sorrow. So it is not good
Mm,
for us to be isolating ourselves from people. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much, Amos, for stating that at least have a community. For me, I think in that kind of case, sometimes it's also church. Sometimes just going, getting to see people on Sunday and after church service, you gist with them, banter, some will laugh at you that oh, ask that all of those things make life easier. And then some of them will pour out their bodies to you and you can also pour your body to them. So what is goodly company, and I said here that it's more of community. What it means that it's just when there is a body of people bound together by common values, interests, and convictions, not people who happen to be nearby, or people who are actually going in the same way. and it's more like just having people around, right? Just people around, and it's just really coming here. The men whose presence make you better, right? And where you think you make them better, right? So it's very very important that we as men have a community. I think that is just the idea of today's conversation. That how can we have community as men, build community as men? What it means is that even if it is weekly, have a point where we meet. It might not be physical, even online. We just have conversations. Me, I have a community like that is called the Fathers. I think some of them are even there, uh, paying me and the likes. Sometimes in the middle of the day, we can just start a conversation. Half a minute here down. Still start a conversation like this week. We'll just start a conversation and start speaking. There needs to be a lifting conversation, to be conversations that are helpful. But just before this call, we had a call where we're just talking about a book that we are reviewing. Those kind of things helps my mental health as a man. What I'm just saying that as a man, just have a community. You have friends that they might not be physically there, but at least you can call them. Maybe three of you, four of you, you can speak, check in on yourselves. How was your day? Oh, how was your week? And you're able to pour out them. Oh, this was what happening in my place of work, and I'm frustrated. But especially for we men that we are single, we need this kind of community. It preserves sanity. That's our sanity. So I don't know if anyone wants to contribute to that before we move to the next point. Let's speak. Robert is here, Roa, Emil, Estos is here. Let's speak. What other contribution do you want to add to that before we move to the next point? All right. So let's just move. I think many other people will also have something to say in the next point. And one of the things that company transfers, yes, always what it means that it drops off from you, like the people that you move with, right? You know, if you look at the scripture, everyone puts in the last part that evil works with the wise, men will be wise, but the company of fools will be destroyed. What it means is that if you move with wise people, definitely they will not perform. You will become, they will become, you will become better for it. It's, so, this Asama said that if you want to be wise, work with five wise people that you will be the sixth. If you want to be foolish, if you work with five foolish people, you will be the sixth. So one way or the other, it rubs off on you. That's what I want to just say. First step into a company of prophet and began to prophesy. All you just need to do was to step into it. The men who saw it could not believe their eyes. He just need to step into the company of prophet and he began to prophesy. Things that it rubs off both knees. Zion sharpens iron because both bad companies, corrupt good character. You will not know how over time because you have been spending time with a particular person that is bad or their character is bad. You will begin to exhibit the character that they are exhibiting, and they should choose on purpose. Yes, let your friendship and your company be choosing on purpose. One of the things that God has helped me with is that I'm very, very intentional about the people that I call friends. I mean, call friends. I used to also pray friends in my life. Just moving to a city and just said, please bring the right people into my life. Let me mix the right people on to relate with the right people. And God just brings them. You just see that God does orchestrate events that make you meet with friends that are purposeful and are moving in the direction that you want you should move it. I don't know who else want to add to that. I don't want to be talking alone because I see it's more of a discussion and a conversational hangout. So there's a question here. Ask yourself honestly in the last 12 months as your cycle moved you forward in any way? Right? Have they moved you forward or have they held you back? Let's speak. All right, the right thing. All right, you can speak.
Good evening, everybody. This is my
Good
first
evening.
time on this program.
What's
Enjoying.
what's the name?
Okay, you know, Pelumi. My name is Pelumi.
Oh, fellow. Yeah, you need the right thing, so I don't know. All right,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
So basically, before the question, I've heard you guys talking about the company, and I think it's really important that we stress on that because companies sometimes actually helps. I think you also said something I relate to. You said your your friends can go into a lot that you can only tell your wife or girlfriend or whatever it is, and then you call your friend, and then they'll just make things easier for you. You understand? And I've been in that situation before. So about your question, I think about your question, I think it it's for me it's fact that the companies I keep have pushed me forward because like you, I've been very intentional about the people I let into
Mm-hmm.
my life to be my friends. Very intentional, and sometimes it just happens by chance. I don't even I still got this intentional on my behalf understand. And these people have, in ways, have sort of improved my character, mindset, and also pushed my career or pushed me forward to becoming the best that I can be. So company is really, really important because if you're in the wrong company, you just discover that instead of moving forward, they are just meeting around the same spot because you'll be scared of going. Because when you feel that as you are going forward, you are kind of leaving them behind, and they'll kind of see you as something that you don't want to be seen as. But then when your friends are actually moving forward and actually striving to move forward, you will not be afraid to be ambitious, to want to go for things. But if your friends are not really going for things, you'll be afraid, thinking that you don't want to give them more than other things. So I think for me that they really, really push me forward, either by going forward themselves or by carrying me along with them, or by also recommending me to things. They've never like held me back. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coordinate, for adding that. Who else wants to say something? Who else want to add to that? Let's speak.
Hello, this is Chidum here again.
All right.
So I want to add to the conversation because number two says it rubs off both ways. Is it about just your friends moving you forward or you moving your friends forward as well? Because it rubs off both ways, right? So
Mm.
it's not, sometimes your friends might actually be the ones that need the help and you need to
Mm.
be the helper. So it's not just about you looking for friends that will lift you up. What if you're the friend that is going to lift others up? I don't think that God created anybody in this world and they are useless, right? Or they are created to be bad people. So what are you doing if you see your friends being stagnant? What are you doing to, lift them up? You just abandon them and look for the next circle of friends, right? So we should also introspect. Find a friend that, just leaves my friends behind. While we're also talking about how we can also work together as a team, within your circle to get going, keep moving forward as a group. Success has to go around. It's not just one individual as well. Just to add to that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It should rub up. That's the most important thing. You two should be contributing something to the friendship, right? Not that you are it's a parasitic one. It's also something that you two should be able to contribute. So I think one I have more space for one more person to speak then before we move to the next part. All right, let's move. Really wish you are talking. Maybe I are quiet. It's okay. Now, what it gives you a place to put the weight down. That's what a company should give you. A goodly company should give you. But you know that somewhere you can drop your guide, right, and say the true thing about and not be afraid, right, about being judged, right. That is also that for me, I have friends like that. I have a particular friend who's in Canada right now. I still call him once in a while. And in that type of person, I think he's the one that, apart from my wife, I can talk to without being afraid of being judged. I can speak to her. And he's on my wavelength. Yeah, I don't know. I still have friends in India, but he is the most more on my wavelength. And many of my friends. So it's good to have people like that. They are like a home. You can pour your weight on more like bring down your guide and speak with them and they understand you and you also understand them. Then also is that it's also a place where you have a part to play. When a man knows others are counting on it, it gives more than he needs for himself. Now you are no longer selfish. I call it this. No longer selfish. Sorry, I'm here now. You're not selfish. You know that there's something you need to offer to the guys what communicates you have the company where you are no longer living for yourself. So I don't know how to tell you. It means you have a sense of purpose right now because you have a company, which is very, very important that reminds you. It also gives you a place where there's someone you can check on, right? And there's someone that can check on you too. Someone that can correct you too. what community should give you, right? Nobody enjoys correction. Every man who grows as somebody allowed to give it, somebody that can correct them. That's the trick. If you don't have men that can say, oh, Alex, what you are doing is wrong, please, and that means you don't want to go back in life. So you should have friends like that that can speak and truth to you. What that goodly company does is that it gives us opportunity to have people that can check, check you. What the thing is now is that sometimes I feel most time when we are saying goodly company is a possibility that we are thinking of only friends within our peers. Trying to be mentors to trying to be even mentees too. People that look up to us too. These are those kind of people that can keep us in check. You understand what I'm saying? So very, very important way we take note of that. So if I move forward, there's any need to add to that. I'm not interested in it.
All right. Good evening, sir.
I'm reading Abraham.
How was your day? Hope you're good. Thank you for always having us all the
Yeah,
time.
I'm good.
I'm really grateful. I really love the topic, the subject of discourse. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. I really love the subject of discourse tonight, and it's so powerful because people are our assets, and at the same time, they can be our greatest problem. So, our company is such a defining factor in fulfilling destiny and in every area of life. So, people investing in relationship is a pivotal way in making the most of life. And I can tell you there are so many biblical examples of friendship, but I personally I can say for my friends that they are one of my biggest edge because I'm someone who has been through it at different phases of life, and all I can fall back on are the friends that built over the years and the relationship that I've invested in. So my friends, I don't take them lightly, and I personally do the work of selecting who I want as friends. So in the darkest night, I know that these people can carry me and I also can carry them. So I have company of people who understand my person, who understand my who have the capacity to bear who I am becoming. So that's very important to me, and I really appreciate you for always coming up with this. And this is an insider news. We look forward to having you all at our physical hangout in August. So thank you so much, sir. God bless you, sir.
So at the end of the course, we are planning a physical hangout by God's grace in Lagos. So Pauline, I want to say one of us. Pauline, you can speak.
Yeah, I just want to just buttress the point there. The fact that I think was Chidi that made the point that said you also need to be giving back to your friends because it's a two-way thing. I think many times, I think we all sometimes make that mistake. Many times you just like to, some people or most people like to draw and we forget that we are not listening, we are not noticing. You understand? So that's why I just want us to not only open our. It's not only when our friends open their mouth to say, okay, this thing. We should always also be aware. One thing I always do is also be aware of situations, aware of things, and know how to communicate in that exact moment. That's the fact that you're even aware means also that you're also telling your friends that you want to help and they are here to. We're also here to listen, and we are not just. We should not make the mistake of just getting caught up in the fact that you are supposed to give to me, not me to you. To always be aware that okay, there's some time that our friends will also need, even if they don't. Some people, some guys, like they said, they believe solely in that be a man, be a man, be a man, be a man. They will not really open up to you, even if you are not a girl. That's why they will not open up to you. That is where you being aware is actually what's and make sure that okay, I'm open to listen to you. If you want to talk, I'm there. So in that way, I think you're also helping them go and helping them know that they always have you when they're ready. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, another thing is that a community also give us a place to grow strength. So what it is that it's also a cover for us. We have men that can watch our six. So we have plenty men brothers that can say, okay, I'm praying for you and they are indeed praying for you. And you have brothers that you can call and say, please, can you just pray for me too? Right. And it's very important with our brothers that because we necessarily there are plenty of people have walked into things that cost them everything simply because they don't have brothers that can cover them and put them in check. and they've made mistakes that they shouldn't have made. I think I saw Francis saying that he wants to ask a question. So please ask the question, Francis.
Okay, right. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
The question I have, growing up in, let me call it African home, where the name of trying to protect us, being in caps, don't have friends, don't go out, and most of the time we get used to that skill. We got used to that programming. So then, how do we break away from that shell? Even
Yeah.
living home, you still find it difficult to express yourself, maybe make friends because of the programming we've had during our upbringing. So the question is, how do we break away from that shell? Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Francis. I don't know who went to answer that before I said, want to speak to that.
Okay, I will take that. So thank you, Francis, for that question. And it's true. African society and modern African society is programmed to protect, to be very protective of children, especially in urban environments because of the kind of criminality that happens, especially when it comes to children. There were a lot of kidnappings when we were younger, and no parent wants to hear that their child is kidnapped or got into bad company or those kind of things. And of course, Nollywood amplified these kind of issues, and it led to a lot of parents locking their children up in the house, just give them what they need. They go to school, come back, eat, they watch TV, do house chores, and that's it. And of course, they don't want friends to also come to the house because, there are lots of stories about bad friends. And then, of course, the whole mix of teenagers and emotions and things can happen. Nobody wants to hear stories about having a friend in the house and then having a pregnant daughter, or yourself getting somebody else's child pregnant. Yeah, that's actually the reason behind all of these overprotectiveness. But by the time you now become an adult, if you keep to that programming and dwarf your growth, right? Because there is opportunities outside and not inside your house, and you need to step out. You need to break that shell yourself. Right? You need to show that you have grown, right? To step out, it's actually a lot. To be in my shell a lot when I was in secondary school, university. I had very few friends, right? But then when I graduated, I had to step outside to meet people, to say you can't just stay in a shell. You stay in a shell, you won't know what's going on around you. You won't know how to access to people. You won't know how to get access to opportunities. So it's something that you need to decide by yourself to do. It's not easy to break away from it. I'm telling you, it's not easy, but you need to take it one step at a time. The thing is, you might just look across the room and you see somebody that looks at you as well. You guys have an eye contact, and then you're tempted to just remove your eye, and face what you're doing. But if you guys are in the same room, you have the same objectives, you can walk up to that person and say, okay, hi, how are you doing? This is what I'm doing. What's going on? Right. And that way you can start a conversation. You'll be surprised at how many things that you have together that you can work together, discuss about together, right? It's actually really scary to approach people, but once you start doing it, it becomes much more easier. That's essentially, the feedback I'll give or the advice I'll give for this particular issue. But of course, I would advise please step out. It's very important. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much, Chido. Thank God. Thank you, answer.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, Bro Silas. Good evening, everyone. I don't know if
good
everyone
evening.
that question actually I've been on that on that shoe. Yeah, because I think I happened to break out of it immediately I left home for high institution after secondary school because I was in a home where we were restricted. We had that, I even lived in an area where if you're not careful, you'll be easily corrupted. But then I think the way I managed to do it is when I got to school, obviously you still have if you're a good child, you will still get to have your parents and the guidance and the scriptural guidance and everything in you. But then when you get there, you would always, first thing you need to do is actually ask the question, what does these people actually mean? And what does it mean to call this, safety? Is this right? What is right and what is wrong? Then if you're able to get that, then you understand that whatever it takes to get it right, you have to do it. So first thing I did, I started attending programs, I started attending programs that talk about things I love, programs that will expose you to ideas of being a good person. Let me put it in that sense. So by the time you get there, you should always learn to, talk to people, connect with people. You can even meet higher people that are of higher class. Like, I'm not talking about level in life. I'm talking about people that have that knowledge, that wisdom. So when you tend to meet them, you get to meet other people, like-minded people. So from there, you would actually, if you're able to have that right mind of discernment, you'll be able to know that these friends are actually the kind of friends you should stick with. And then I can tell you that I still have like one or two of them in my life now. Those people I met in high institution, and they've been actually helpful in my life. So to the extent I even took them home at some point to go and see my parents, and they confirmed it. So you can actually break away from it, but then you have to go in the right direction, and it is very, very easy. When you know the right thing to do, you would actually know the right friends to keep.
And you can speak, Anthony.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Anthony. You said you can Anthony. This is actually my first time in this program. Well, a great friend of mine that this kind of program exists. So since I logged in, I've been listening, and I'm thrilled with what I've heard so far. And it's worth my time, I must say. So far, I believe what we're talking about is creating relationship and our circle. When I was in university, during my time, I served in different capacities, both in school politics and in church. But it's happened that it was affecting my GP in the university, the highest university in Nigeria. So what happened is that I, in my department, started looking for people that knows more than me, irrespective of the gender. I don't know how to talk to opposite gender till I got to my fourth year in university. So I met these people. It's happened that they have these most four brilliant ladies in my department because I know what I want. Then I have to link up with them, create that friendship and relationship with them. First semester came, I was my people started going up because of with their help. Then in return, I have things that they need. That's what I call friendship. Friendship is not when one person is benefiting because I have what they need. It's not that they are requesting somebody, but if I feel like it's also for me. That's how my GP rise to where it was until I graduated. The other one, I'm talking about building relationship. When I was the president in my school, man, young boy, one small boy came. Okay, so I had to ask the boy what was the problem. He and that happened to him. So I had to harbor this young man in my own room, at least for a month, and before I was able to, figure out what to do about it. It happened that the guy had issue with the family. So the way I managed the boy, did him, the father had to come to the school. I didn't know the father is a colonel for me. Father came to the school, to the after everything, change contact. This man always called me every month to check up on me. When I graduated, the man called me, Anthony, where are you? So I'm in my state. Have you served? What's holding? I just registered, but they just moved my dates into another batch. Told me if I want to serve, I should choose any state of my choice. He's going to do anything for me to serve in any state of my choice. He did that. Then also after serving, he called me. I don't know, why did you want to work? Do you have somewhere? I told him no, but I've been applying. I've been submitting application. So he said, okay, no problem. I have a friend. Where are you? I told him my location. I have a friend. Call this number. That's how I got the job where I am right now. So you see, the relationship is where the two sides, the two hands are working together. If it's one-sided, that means it's not a relationship, it's not a friendship. So with this, I believe that I've made some points, and with this program going on, I believe that I'm one thing that I will need to learn because I'm a good listener and I love learning. And I think that a lot of scholars here because people here they made a lot of points that I've noted down in my jotter. So, our dear um, Mr. Salas, I want to thank you for organizing this program. I don't know, you are the organizer. I want to thank you for organizing this program. And to my friend that told me about the program, I so much appreciate for bringing me to this community. And I look more forward for an eye-opening program. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for contributing. I really appreciate that you joined us for the first time. Sincerely, do appreciate that not to people granted. So our time is past, and let me just quickly state what I want to state, and then I think we can call it to this. I think another place is it is a place for relief. Right? No matter what you're carrying, that people are going through what you're going through. So if you share with them, it's very good today. It also helps you multiply strength. I mean, one it takes 1,000, but two it takes 10,000. It helps us to get results in a multiplied way. There's somewhere this point will go over time. No, so why do we still not open up when we know that community is there for us? Sometimes we try to put our Sunday best, sometimes pride, sometimes also fear of disappointment. We once open up to people in the past and they failed us, or we spoke to someone in something else and we went to speak to another person, and that way it was more like they disappointed you, or maybe you spoke with someone and they were judgmental or critical of your you had loose mouth. So those kind of things that prevented a lot of people from opening up. So this is the point where we are heading. Where do we find the community? The first one is that most of us are Christians here, or if in fact all of us are Christians here, church gives us community. When I just moved to Lagos, what gave me community was my church. I started working in Lagos and just majorly remote. So only in church I could go to and then meet with friends and give me community. Let's be active in our churches. Let's join in. Those are the places you can get uh community. On now and let's be deliberate with our friendships. Get let's pray for our friends and pray them tell God to bring the right friends into your lives, that the right people that will make your life better and that you too will make their lives better. That is a gathering of men. If you see flyers, right, of men events, go to them. I try as much as possible when enable us to go to events that are men related and I try to relate to people there. I speak with them, know how I delight them and then I try to network with them. So this and this. Like for instance, we're having our hangout in Lagos this August. Let's try and make ourselves available and that we can stay with the community and meet the people. Then father, brothers, and mentors. We are like I said earlier, we can have our fathers, our brothers, and even our mentors that be part of our community too. That it become those that will help us, and then we can help them. Then in our work, in our school, in our teams too. Please let's make sure that we build community there. Let's make sure we have goodly company here. But I think the major thing I just want to say is that please and please, let's see that we pray the right place into our lives. I pray God will help us to be very, very intentional about that in the name of Jesus Christ. So time has gone. I think this is 9:03, but I will just get 2 minutes if anyone has a question or a short contribution, and then we'll end the call any contribution or any.
Yes, just a contribution from my end. Thanks, Ifechika, for that wonderful story. And from his story, I picked out something. When he was working on his GP, it wasn't necessarily just men, right? There are also good women out there. So you don't need to restrict yourself to just men. So if you have your priorities set right and you know what you're looking for, you can also go out and meet good women and make friends with women. Men can also still be friends with women. It doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship or something that has to do with you getting married later or having anything to do with it, right? Once you know what your priorities are and you can set your boundaries right, then you can also meet good women as well and form a good company with both women and men. Just adding that into the conversation.
I can't appreciate too much. Also, we can have like saying relationships with other females from other gender, but maybe say that let's pray that God bring the right people. Let's get the right friends. with the right people, and it will be easy for us to just think that even for many of us that will have to leave maybe the cities that we're in, other cities too, that God will bring our company in the name of Jesus Christ. Yeah, thank you so much for coming to our hangout for July. We are going to meet by God's grace is August for the physical one. So it flyers will be out, and then opportunity to register for it will be out. So it's going to be a proper hangout. What I mean that there will be men that will do streets, will speak it, will have a keynote speaker, and then we'll hit also. We'll hit and include them. It's going to be a single lady. Just please let's try and put it in our calendar. In fact, there was someone the last one we held in Silk State, but there was someone that actually traveled this because of it. Then the person traveled in from Oyo, so because of it. So let's try and make plans and be available. I'm going to share it on our group. I play God of that's in the step. So we have our recordings with leads where we see our recording. Let's listen and let's hear them. Let's share our flyers on our status and on our social media. And that we other men she can see it as I'm a blessed by the conversation that we just had. So let's face Lord Jesus, please thank you because you have said that let's thank just forever. Thank you for the conversation we have had. The scriptures here are the one that sets the lonely in families. Lord, we are asking that you set us in families in the name of Jesus Christ. That you will, by the power in the name of Jesus, I bring the right men and women our way in the name of Jesus Christ. Men and women that will make our life better, men and women that will make their lives greater in the name of Jesus Christ. So we have that none of us will be attributed because like God. Anyone that's lonely right now, that's the pumped for them in the name of Jesus. And he bless them with the right relationships in the name of Jesus Christ. The churches that will elevate them in the name of Jesus Christ. On his name.